Student loan debt. I'm sure that you've heard a lot about this lately. There's been talk about giving forgiveness, forgiving debt for people, student loan debt. And where this idea come from, I think it's a pretty long-lasting liberal agenda that they would like to cancel student loan debt. There's some people say this is a good thing. There's some people say it's a bad thing. Who's talking about it lately? Well, this is from Elizabeth Warren's website. Shumer Warren, the next president, can and should cancel up to $50,000 in student loan debt immediately. Democrats outline plan for immediate action in 2021. President has an existing executive authority to cancel student loan debt from Congress. Canceling student loan debt will relieve a huge burden on families during COVID-19 and beyond, close the racial wealth gap, and boost our economy. Over 100 community, civil rights, consumer, and student advocacy organizations support student debt cancellation. Donald Trump and Republicans continue to ignore the growing student debt crisis and block student debt cancellation because we need to have that student debt cancellation. I mean, I think there's some good stuff about it, but it's mostly for individuals. I don't know how this helps the country. Some people have talked about it being a stimulus. I don't know. I think that it's really a handout to a specific group of people. Let me continue. Washington, D.C., Senate Democrat leader Chuck Schumer, Senator Elizabeth Warren, member of the Senate Health, Education, Labor, and Pensions Committee, and their colleagues introduced a resolution today outlining a bold plan for the next president of the United States to use existing authority under the Higher Education Act to cancel up to $50,000 in federal student loan debt or federal student loan borrowers. For federal student loan borrowers. So yeah, their plan is talking about just people that have federal student loans. This is not really addressing those that have private loans. At least I don't believe it does. I don't know that this is a great idea. What I do know is that young people disproportionately vote Democrat. So to a large extent, this is a handout for voters of the Democrat Party. Oh, please vote for us, and we will give you $50,000. $50,000 for a college graduate vote. Yeah, college debt vote. Is that what it is? Is that what this is? Is this a plan to try to buy off people? Is this a plan to try to buy off your Democrat voters? I don't know. Kind of looks like it. I realize it would help many more people than Democrats. It might even flip people Democrat. Those happy Democrats, they gave me $50,000. Anyway, this is what Schumer and Elizabeth Warren want to do. Joe Biden. Joe Biden laid out his plans to help students, including immediate $10,000 in forgiveness of student loans. So you know what? He's not buying you off with $50,000. He's buying you off with $10,000. 50 grand is a little too rich. Let's go down to that 10 grand. Double the Pell Grants. Now, I'm not sure if this means to double the amount of a Pell Grant you receive. Now, Pell Grant it's money that the government gives you. If you're a low income person, you have to go through these gates. You need to qualify for the money. I received some myself. It helps pay your college tuition. Free education for anyone making under $125,000 for 4-year college. So I'm not sure how this is going to work. Pretty much any student is going to make less than $125,000 a year. So the question is this the family? When they figure out Pell Grants and your other student loan, they take into consideration what your family makes. I'm not sure if that means this. And forgive student loans for those in public service. So I was in public service for a decade, and I was offered that program, and I refused, which I look back in time and, whoa, was I dumb. I didn't think I was staying. So I said, well, the way that deal worked is that they would pay my student loans off and I would owe them X amount of years. I think it was based on the dollar amount that you receive from them. how many years you would owe them. And I didn't think I was staying, and I ended up staying a long time. And not only that, they did help pay for my master's degree. So that's one of those things. You give service to the government, maybe you get something back. It's like a bonus, because government people in general don't match the salaries of people that are outside the government. Anyway, so there's pictures like this going around. Well, this is a trolley that just ran over and killed a bunch of people. Would it be fair to the people the trolley has already killed to divert it now? Yes. See, there's this guy here. There's this guy. He can save these other people from being run over by the trolley if they just paid his student loan debt, or the student loan debt for all these people over here. If you pay your $50,000, $10,000, Joe Biden, if you do that, then you can save these people. It's a perfect analogy. It's not like it's just money. It's not like it's money that, you might be able to earn back because you get a college degree, right? It's nothing like that. It's just, you're going to die. Anyway, let's look at some more opinions. This is an opinion from the New York Times, from Roxanne Gay. Some people oppose student loan forgiveness because they want others to suffer too. I went through my student loan. You got to suffer like I did. Anyway, let's take a look at what she has to say. I took out my first student loans more than 20 years ago. I had dropped out of college just before the start of my junior year. I took a couple of years off, and when I went back, I had to pay for my final 2 years myself. What? Can you imagine that, having to pay for something that you chose to do? Unbelievable. I understood the responsibility I was assuming, but I was working minimum wage jobs at the time. Retail, telemarketing, bartending. Repayment seemed like a vague, distant concept, in large part because I couldn't fathom being able to repay such staggering amounts of money. I went to graduate school and I got 2 more degrees, and though those programs were funded, I took out student loans because it was impossible to live on the meager stipends we were given. Again, you chose to go to college. You chose it. You decided, hey, you know what? I'm probably going to make more money if I go. So why don't I do this, get the degree, and I'll do better in life. Right? You didn't like the bartending job, you and AOC. Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. I'm not supposed to say AOC. She doesn't like that. Not from people that don't agree with her, which I probably don't. Most of the times, occasionally I do. Anyway, one of those jobs I had as an undergrad, the second time around, was at a student loan company processing loan consolidations. I saw applications from people who owed $15,000 and people who owed $400,000 and everything in between. I learned how expensive chiropractic and dental schools are, because those people don't make that money back, do they? I spoke with a young woman who attended Brown, and she was working at Walmart and had $300,000 in loans and was desperate for help. Why'd you go to Brown? You must have really screwed up if you went to Brown and you're working at Walmart. I don't know what the deal is. You got $300,000 in loans. You went to Brown. I don't know. Did you do critical race theory garbage there? What'd you study? Women's studies? How come you're working at Walmart? You got a skill, perhaps, that nobody wants. Yeah, that's part of the problem, people. You cannot go to college and do stuff that nobody wants. Doesn't work for you, doesn't work for me. I don't want to pay for it. Most people don't want to pay for it. In fact, a lot of the stuff that you guys like to study is garbage and destructive to the country. Let me continue. Let's see. Student loans are the kind of debt from which there is often no escape. They generally cannot be discharged by claiming bankruptcy. This is true. And we know people that have had student loans for 30 years, 40 years, and they still can't get rid of them. There is an aspect to this which, wow, is a little nuts. Deferment and forbearance periods are finite. If you default, the stain of it will follow you for quite a long time. Yes, because you didn't pay your loan. You don't pay your loan, you borrow the money, you don't pay the loan. It doesn't look good for you with the credit companies, generally speaking. Let's see. Many progressive politicians feature student loan forgiveness as one of their key policy ideas because they understand how big of a problem it is, the student debt crisis is, and what will become without intervention. And they like to buy your votes, right? Joe Biden, $10,000 for you. Oh, and people that want to fill the Senate with Democrats, Elizabeth Warrent and Charles Schumer. Chucky Chuck is, I don't know, is that Trump's thing? Chucky Chuck Schumer? Anyway, but the debate about the issue is contentious. It's either a great idea or a terrible one. It's a way of evening the playing field, or it's unfair to people who have paid off their student loans or who never borrowed or attended college. How dare they want to not pay for other people's voluntary loans? A great many Americans are concerned with fairness only when they think someone else might get something they won't get. And they are seething with resentment as they imagine a country in which we help one another. It's appalling. That is where we are. That is who we are. You don't want to help people that borrow money. What's wrong with you? Why wouldn't you want to help people that borrow money? They borrowed it. No one benefits from everything our government does. I don't have children, but some of the money I pay in taxes goes towards education. This serves the greater good and indirectly benefits me. We are all paying for infrastructure we don't personally need or use. It's part of the social contract. But that contract holds up only when we were all willing to abide by its terms. That's right. Those roads that everybody uses, the children who then enter the workforce that helps the society at large, we decided it's useful and beneficial for the country and society to educate people up to a particular level. After that, it's on you. You decided to go to Brown. You decided to get 2 master's degrees or wherever it is. You decided that. And guess what? You benefit. People benefit from the roads. Everybody benefits. It's arguable whether everyone benefits from the basic education, but I think that is a good thing for society. It could be argued, let's continue. But then it could be argued, let's continue after that. Let's get everybody a bachelor's. Let's get everybody a master's. Let's get everybody a PhD. Let's pay for everybody's house. Let's pay for everybody's meals. Let's pay for everybody's, your Gucci bag. Let's pay for everybody's Gucci bag, right? Where do we stop? There's got to be a point where you stop. You can't pay for everything for everybody. And society doesn't always benefit from what you decide that you want to go after as a degree. Sometimes we do. Like if you're an engineer, perhaps we all, and by the way, I am an engineer, sometimes we all benefit from what that person chooses to do. So, maybe they come up with some good financial product. Yes, some good financial product that helps benefit, that helps create wealth for people. Or sometimes you pursue something like women's studies, which does nothing but make everybody mad at each other. Or some of these other racially based things where you just kind of want to take down people, right? That's not a good societal benefit. I personally don't want to pay for your degree. So it's interesting. There's the book, The Bell Curve, came out. I believe it was 1994. It was very controversial. Talked about college and how colleges were starting to extract talent out of the society. And when people first were in college, let's say, it's a long time, but they went back to 1900. It was something that was a luxury. It was only people like the rich that were doing it, people that had the backing, that were able to study things that they wanted to study, right? So it wasn't just everybody going to college. The numbers now are astronomical of people going to college. Whether they should be or not is another story. But anyway, that book gets hit because it talked about IQs, and it talked about IQs in one chapter about race, and, Charles Murray became a racist. But ultimately what the message the book wanted to get out is that people of higher IQs were being pulled into college. College was educating them. They were becoming our elite, and they've been slowly entering into the higher echelons of society and in corporations. And they were telling people that they are more and more far removed from how they should be living their lives and having no sense of how most people in the country live. So anyway, I mention that because it was voluntary, and doesn't always work out. It's not always a great thing that people go to college. And I'm not suggesting people shouldn't. I did. It helped me grow, helped me improve. But I chose a degree that's good. Which brings me to the next thing from the Brookings Institute. Major decisions, what graduates earn over their lifetimes. In late 2014, the Hamilton Project released 2 economic analyses and interactives on earnings of college graduates by major. One set that showed career earnings profiles and lifetime earnings, and another that showed an undergraduate student loan repayment calculator. Both were and still are very popular because they provide useful and actionable information to college students who are trying to make choices that will affect them for years. To remain useful, these data need a refresh. We have updated data in both interactives to use earnings from 2014, 2018. All right. So essentially what they did, there's calculators where you can, and I just kind of have it here for reference. You could say, well, aerospace engineering, if my debt's $27,000 when I leave, at interest of 4.53%, over 10 years, it's showing what percentage of your income on average, and this is based on a middle income, will go towards paying back your student loan. So they're saying 6.3 in your first years, and by year 10, it's 4% of your income. I don't consider that soul crushing. I don't consider that like we need to divert the trolley by stealing from other people. You know, ain't that bad. But that's not true with every major. There are some majors where you don't do so well. There are some majors where so if you look at this chart, they're showing this green line here. This green line is showing the average of all majors. So the average of all majors, you make significantly more money than high school, which is this line down here. That's important. So there's money you get back by getting a degree. Now, the degree you choose makes a big difference. So what does it say down here? The earnings profile of bachelor's degree graduates with no additional education is uniformly above that of associate's degree graduates. The typical or median bachelor's degree graduate earns about $68,000 in 2018 dollars at career peak, which occurs at year 30. And the typical associate's degree graduate earns $49,000 at career peak at year 33. In turn, the median earnings for associate degree graduates is uniformly above that of high school graduates. But it's not much, but still it is. Median earnings of bachelor degree graduates are higher than median earnings of high school graduates for all 98 majors studied. So even if you're doing that, very specific studies, I guess you can make a little bit more money than that. But part of the story is you don't make as much money if you choose some lower earning degrees. Median career earnings for a bachelor's degree holder are $1.28 million in 2018 dollars. This marks a gain of between 1% and 2% after accounting for inflation from our 2014 analysis. The median career earnings for a bachelor's degree graduate are more than twice as high for someone with only a high school diploma, or roughly 70% higher for someone with a college but no degree, and more than 45% higher than for someone with an associate's degree. So, these relationships do not hold for all workers. Some workers without a bachelor's degree have higher career earnings than do some workers with a bachelor's degree. I mean, wasn't it, it's Bill Gates never finished college, right? So he has some college, didn't finish. It's important, and you get your money back for the most part. There's statistics that show that there's 25% of degrees that would gain you about the same amount as a high school graduate. Even though this kind of contradicts that, you see that in some other statistics. So what you decide to do, and let me say that word decide to do, can determine whether taking loans, going to college is worth it. It benefits you. Does it benefit society? Yes, it can. Let's continue. So some of the other problems with college. Alarming statistics tell the story behind America's college completion crisis. Nearly a third of all college students still don't have a degree 6 years later. So you go into a 4-year college and 6 years later, you still don't have a degree. Wow, are you paying a lot of money for college? You're 2 years over what you should be paying, right? Assuming you're still in college, which is, as we'll see, is not always the case. This is an excerpt from the new Richard Whitmire book, The BA Breakthrough, How Ending Diploma Disparities Can Change the Face of America. All right. America's higher education problem is not a college enrollment problem. The percentage of students who head straight to college after high school has risen from 63% in 2000 to 70% in 2016, according to the Department of Education. What we have is a graduation problem, especially among low-income minority students. Just 11% of students from the lowest income quartile earn bachelor's degrees within 6 years, the commonly used indicator of college success, compared with 58% of students who come from the highest income group, according to the Pell Institute. So people are pushed into going to college, and it is not always the right solution. I know stories I've heard personally of people that don't think it's worth it. They don't think it's for them, but it's pushed. I went into college right out of high school. I didn't do well. I dropped out. I went back about a decade later. I did pretty darn well and got myself a bachelor's in engineering. So sometimes we're not ready to go right outside of high school. Sometimes it's something maybe we need to think about. Maybe we need to become a little bit mature. I think I needed to become a little bit mature. Am I mature yet? I don't know. Anyway, the National Center for Education Statistics tracked a 2002 cohort of U.S. students, finding only 14.6% of those families are in the lowest income quartile earn bachelor's degree within 10 years, compared with 46% from the highest income group. The astonishingly low college success rates alarm many liberal-leaning groups such as Education Trust, but also worry conservatives who note that the problem is not limited to low-income students. Rick Hess, director of Education Policy Studies at the right-leaning American Enterprise Institute, a little bit right-leaning, led a team that examined the dilemma. Writes Hess, in 2016, more than 40% of all students who started four-year college 6 years earlier had not earned a degree. This means that nearly 2 million students who began college each year will drop out before earning a diploma. There are more than 600 four-year colleges where less than a third of students will graduate within 6 years of arriving on campus. So you're going to college, you're accruing debt, you're failing out, you're leaving. The biggest issue is but the issue is most acute among Blacks and Hispanics, where the college enrollment rates keep rising, but the success rates, those who actually walk away with four-year degrees, are barely better than flat. They drop out before earning degrees. The overall college graduation figures reveal the imbalance. Just 14% of Black adults and 11% of Hispanic adults hold bachelor's degrees, compared with 24% of whites. It's a big disparity. There's a lot of people who don't have college degrees. There's a lot of people started and a lot of people left. So we are being asked as a society to pay the debts of these people that I think probably the majority of them are people that went and didn't finish college. I don't know. But it's not good for you. It's not good for us. The debt bubble is getting bigger. I think there's a bigger problem. Maybe not everyone needs to be pushed to go to college. Maybe there needs to be more selection. I mean, especially if you're getting into that. Look, if you're going to get into paying for people like the $125,000 or less income, your college is going to be free. You're just going to be pushing government money into colleges. Government money corrupts. I'm sorry, but it does. Government money corrupts. It is free. It is saying to the colleges, oh, you're going to get rich. Yeah, they're going to get rich off of all the money that will be funneled that way. I understand we want minorities to do well, and that's a big issue. I 100% would love for minorities to get college degrees and meaningful degrees where they will be able to make money and perpetuate it, make it bigger, make it better. Not build back better, but yeah, build better. Get yourself out there. That's what I would love to see personally. So It's a problem. Maybe not everyone needs to go to college. Maybe we need to be a little bit more discerning out of the gate. So here's a little bit. Why is college more expensive than it's ever been? Because anyone that's paid attention knows that college tuition is going up like crazy. And that's the other part of it. The supply side of it is nuts. Why? All right. I'm going to kind of breeze through this because I really just want to get to the reasons that they're giving. College tuition has more than doubled since 1980. Yeah. Nothing else has, I don't think. I mean, those are crazy prices. At least nothing that substantial. All right. I feel like buying a house is a total pipe dream at this point in my life, but I'm tightening my belt as much as possible to save for down payment. A water resources engineer who graduated from public university with roughly $25,000 in debt told a Business Insider. 4 years later, she owes $19,000. Her $300 payments are set on autopay, which reduces her interest by 2.5% a month. Thankfully, I have USAA, who has great first-time home buyer program. All right, let's continue down here. Everyone wants to go to college. The demand for higher education has risen dramatically since 1985. Once demand goes up and nothing else happens, that will raise prices. Right. It's like I was saying before, more people want to go to college. More people go, the more expensive it becomes. Theory suggests financial aid causes tuition increases. Yes, again, if you put government money, so it's the government secured loans, right? The backed secured, meaning the government will pay if you don't pay, if you default on your loan. That's the money that colleges say is, oh, that's free money. So if these people don't pay back their loans, I don't really care. It's not my problem. I already got the money. It's on the government now to back it up and to pay the lenders that money. So yeah, there's a real issue there, I believe, 100%. If you're going to get government money, you're going to get corruption. State funding can't keep up with enrollment. So this is another part of why tuition has raised. And this is actually one that might fall on the side of people that want to repay the student loans or forgive the student loans, because to a large extent, government has pulled out the funding from underneath these institutions. Now, whether that's a good thing or not, I guess people have to determine. But it seems like so that everybody was paying. Now to subsidize the colleges, especially the state institutions, they start dropping that funding. They put it onto the individual. Now maybe we should help the individual. So I think there's an argument to be made there because public money that went into it has been pulled over years. Is it enough to say, let's forgive everybody's loans? I don't know. I kind of don't feel like it because people do choose to go. Colleges need to pay more for professors, right? So you have more demand. You need to pay for more professors. It gets ugly. Student services like counseling and healthcare are growing. So there's more services on the college campus. Again, that's what you're paying for. That's what you're asking us as society to pay for. Here's another one. Why is college so expensive? Costs of colleges keep rising. I mean, look at this. From 1975, where a private college was $17K, all the way up to where it's $43K now. And public $8K to $19K. That's crazy. Although I have to say that seems kind of low. That seems like per semester to me or per year, because those are the numbers I'm seeing, I'm hearing. I'm saving right now. I'm doing my 529 program for my child. I'm trying to save up for her to go to college and not be burdened with this. It is my expectation that she does go to college. I need to have some responsibility to help pay for it. And I understand that. And perhaps I have the means more than others. Again, when I went, I had to take student loans. So it's expensive for colleges to market to potential college students. Yeah, you have a marketing budget. I know this personally. I work in some projects where we deal with some colleges and they have marketing. Anyway, colleges are spending a lot on building the best college experience because, yes, we need to have the rock wall. We need to have that tier A sports team that we have to pay for, and hopefully it pays for itself, but not always. An increase in college administrative positions. Oh boy, yes, they are becoming very administrative heavy. This is a problem in education in general. We don't need a So I say it again, a gender studies administrator or 4 or 5 or making $100, $200, $300,000 a year for doing what? We don't need them. Anyway, that's what you're paying for if you're going to forgive these college loans. Boom, and university president pay. I don't know what this is. They're not making $97K. Right above here, Chronicle for Higher Education provides data on executive compensation at more than 1,200 chief executives at educational institutions. Renu Kator, the president of the University of Houston, was a top-earning public college executive in the nation in 2015 with a total compensation package of $1.3 million. What? You're making $1.3 million. I guess you're bringing money into the college, right? At the expense of the government and these people who are taking on these loans. It's a little shady to me. Is the cost of college worth it? Well, we've determined that for the most part, it is. So you take on the loan. It's a return investment, right? You get the return. Oh, here it is right here. Understand the return on investment in your college degree. Of course, it's still necessary to consider a number of factors when determining the potential return on investment for your degree. You should always research career prospects in your particular field in your geographic area. Otherwise, you run the risk of working, going to Brown for $300,000 in debt and working at Walmart because you chose a stupid degree. Although I don't know that's really what the deal was with that lady who we were supposed to have all the compassion for. But that was the deal. Now, I also want to say there's other options, right? So if your this is federal student aid. So this is a government website. If your federal student loan payments are high compared to your income, you may want to repay your loans under an income-driven repayment plan. So people, there are options for student loan forgiveness that are beyond just having a handout from the government to buy your vote, right? So you can negotiate to do these revise as you pay earning repayment plans. And it looks like in general, it's about 10% of your discretionary income, not the income for to pay your rent and all that stuff, of your discretionary income. So there are plans out there that people are not aware of that could help them with their student debt so that, they're not run over by the trolley. I think people should look at it. I think that you need to pay your own debt. I don't think that everybody should be burdened with it. Even though this lady over here says I'm a bad man, I think that you shouldn't have the what they say, it was 25% have degrees and 11% of minority community. You shouldn't have all the 90% and the 75% paying for the degree that you chose to do. I do feel compassion for the people that started. They shouldn't have been there and they dropped out. But I got to tell you, you chose to do that. That's your responsibility. I'm sorry. So tell me, what do you think? Leave it in the comments below. And if you like this, give us a like. Please subscribe to our channel. And we will see you next time. Thanks a lot.